Hey, family. Just did a live and wanted to come back and kind of talk a little bit about the Daniel Penny and um, what is really going on in our justice system. I showed a couple of videos, and I'm going to try to show those 2 videos now, hoping and praying that I'll be able to kind of pull this thing together, because we just had a man that murdered another man for speaking. Not because he put his hands on anybody, but because he was going through a mental health day, a mental health issue day, right? He didn't do anything to anybody. He didn't touch anybody. He was just there speaking loud. And he was murdered because he was having a bad day. And you had a mayor in New York, that said that he stood behind him. You had a vice president and a president that you just elected, just invited him to the cookout. Just invited him to a football game. Where do we do that at? Why is it okay for them to feel that it's okay to invite this murderous man to a football game? And even told you, or told him, or texted him and told him that he was happy, that he was very happy. And he congratulated him. And your mayor at New York, when it first happened, said that he backed him. But I don't think anybody should have died. Why was it okay for him to kill him? Why was it okay for him to feel like this demon did a great service for our justice system by murdering a young man that was having a mental health issue day? I want to play a video for you, and I'm hoping that I can get it on camera this time. I did a whole show, and some of the show didn't get shared, or you couldn't even hear it. And I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it on this one now. But I'm just upset about the whole thing. I just did a whole 2-hour video and it didn't record. So I don't know if it's the recording on the video, or is my computer, or is it YouTube? I don't know. But I'm hoping I'll be able to get this taken care of and do it the right way. I'm going to try to go over here and copy and paste a couple of videos that I want seen. I'm hoping that I'll be able to share it with you guys, and maybe I'll just copy it and paste it, maybe. Ah, uh-oh. This is so crazy because of the simple fact. Um, I'm so upset. I just did this whole video and it didn't show up the way I needed it to, but that's okay. It's fine. I'm going to try to share it on a page of mine. I'm going to try to get it over here. I don't think I can do it like that. Probably not. Can't believe I did that. So mad about that whole thing. I just tried to do a video. I don't even feel like redoing it. I'm just not going to redo it. I can't believe that you can't even hear half of what I was doing or saying on the video. I'm going to pause this, I think. I'm going to pause it. A couple of the videos that I was showing at the last live, and maybe you guys understand what I was talking about when I was showing those two videos. I do apologize. I didn't know it was not even, weren't even able to hear the videos. I'm doing a recording now, and hopefully it'll show, or you'll be able to hear the videos that I played without a whole lot of commentary in it. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm going to share my screen again. I'm going to try this again. I don't know what the heck was going on here. But let's go. I'm going to do this one. And let's show this one. I'm going to do the entire screen. And I'm going to try to go in here and see it. I think it's right here. And I'm going to let you hear it. And also, and I think it was not adding audio to it. I think that's what got me. So hopefully we'll be able to see it. Let's go over here and listen to it. I hope I'm able to see it.
I had just finished teaching Introduction to American Politics to a group of eager undergraduates. This was my first year teaching, but I had pulled off a slamming lecture, and I was feeling good about myself. As I left the classroom, I looked down at my phone and saw that I had 5 missed calls from my brother, Kenny. At the time, Kenny was a student at Temple University and living in North Philly. For those who don't know North Philly, it's an area that is predominantly Black and low income with a very visible police presence. When I return his phone call, Kenny is loud and swearing into the phone. I can tell that something very bad happened, but I'm not sure what. When I am finally able to get him to calm down, he tells me how he was sitting on the stoop of his building talking to a friend when 4 police officers ran up on him and threw him and 3 others on the ground, handcuffed them, and then pushed them up against a wall, all the while asking them, "What drugs do you have? What drugs do you have?" Kenny had no drugs. He told the officers this many times, but each statement of no drugs only seemed to provoke more force and make the officers more upset. As Kenny sat cuffed and slumped against a brick wall, he quietly told the officers that he was a student at Temple University, and without reason, they could not hold him. The officers finally retrieved his college ID, which was in his wallet that had slipped out when he was slammed to the pavement, realized that he was indeed in college without drugs, and then let him go. After Kenny told me the story, he was still loud and upset. I was shaking, barely able to hold the phone to my ear. All of the joy from my great day of teaching gone, and replaced was a deep sense of helplessness and alarm. I wanted to remove the hurt and frustration that Kenny felt, that I could hear so clearly through the phone, but I neither had the will nor the ability to lie to him about the mightiness of American racism. And we both silently knew that this would not be the last time that he would be stopped and frisked by the police for drugs. In an attempt to try to calm him down and to shift attention onto something that he perhaps did have control over, I had this genius idea and suggested that he focus his attention on schoolwork to kind of take his mind off of things. He yells into the phone at me, "What is that going to do? Why should I focus on my schoolwork when the police are allowed to do things like this?" And then he says to me, "I'm not a student in your class, Megan. Your books are not going to save me." I silently nodded on the other end of the phone. In a lifetime of often heated exchanges with him, I've probably never been more wrong, and he has never been more right. Kenny is not alone. This violent interaction between Black men and women and police officers plays out in cities and towns across the United States, often with much more devastating results. According to the most recent statistics, Blacks are 3 times more likely to be shot and killed by police than whites. The question on everyone's mind, and the question that I get asked the most, is how do we solve this problem? And I confess, I cringe at this question. Not because it's not a good question, but because I think we're asking the wrong question. I'm not convinced we even understand how we got to this point in the first place.
This is a HELOC. It looks like a credit card, it works like a credit card, but it's actually an easier way for me to access the equity in my home. With an Avon card, I get an ultra-low interest rate, high spending limit, and cash back with every purchase. Oh, and the best part? It costs me $0 to get. Approvals come in as fast as 15 minutes. So don't wait. Click this ad and see what you pre-qualify for today.
Better understanding of the root causes of the current place where we are will help provide us the tools that we need to move us forward. However, even I confess that even I sometimes am more eager to solve a problem than I am to understand it. So a few years ago, I adopted a corgi from a shelter and named him President Bartlett off of the West Wing. Now he's super adorable, but he was abused, and he's very aggressive whenever he sees another dog. My fix in my first year was to walk him at crazy hours of the day, but this worked only marginally well, and I was stressed and tired. The following year, I decided to hire a trainer to try to figure out the underlying issues behind his reactive behavior. On the first day of our meeting, the trainer looks at me and says, "Fixes that do not address the root causes of an issue are not really fixes at all." I realized that in my haste to fix President Bartlett, I actually had made him worse. The present crisis surrounding race in the United States, I think, suffers from a lack of attention to the root causes. Better attention to the root causes, I am convinced, will help us to figure out how to move past where we are right now in terms of the current racial climate in the United States. So why does the killing of unarmed Blacks continue to happen? I think it continues to happen because we have the wrong diagnosis and the wrong cure. And what I mean by this is we tend to think the problem of racial violence is isolated to a few stubborn racists, right, that haven't yet drunk kind of this progressive Kool-Aid. And we tend to think the cure to racial injustices in the United States should always revolve around education. In the rest of my talk today, I'm going to challenge both of these ideas and suggest a new way to understand the problem as well as the solution. First, part of the reason the killing of unarmed Blacks continues to happen at an alarming rate is because we haven't properly addressed our long history of racial terror in this country, which has treated Blackness as a proxy for criminality, as a substitute for criminality. Instead, when confronted with kind of these jarring racial injustices, what we like to do is to point to the bad racist apples. We like to individualize the problem and situate it away from us. This is why we're able to make sense of, let's say, a Dylan Roof, the shooter in Charleston, South Carolina, who shot up the Black church and had a white power manifesto. But the problem of contemporary racial violence is not that we have a few kind of racist bad apples. The problem is that the whole tree, the whole apple tree, is infected. The problem is that the presumption of dangerousness is tightly bound to race for so many in this country. For police officers to justify the use of deadly force, they have to reasonably believe that their lives are in danger. In all of the high-profile killings of Blacks over the past year, officers attest to feeling under threat. But what does this mean in the context of unarmed citizens? It means that Black skin triggers a heightened sense of threat, a life-threatening sense of threat, that then influences the officer's decision to use deadly force. According to the most recent statistics, 33% of Blacks that have been killed by police were unarmed. But it's not just police that prop up this myth of Black danger. This myth gets reinforced and takes on a truth-like quality through everyday interaction. When a Black man passes and a woman clutches her purse, or when a group of Black friends walk by a car and hear the jarring sound of someone who has just pushed their automatic locks because they are afraid. And I have friends on both sides of this, Black men with great jobs who just want to be viewed as a person and not as a threat. after a long day of work. And I have really great white and Asian women friends who clutch their purse and walk quickly if they see a black man on a dimly lit street, and then feel ashamed and a need to over-explain their actions.
There you go.
And I've also been on the receiving end of having who I was reduced to someone else's false perception of how much of a danger I posed. Last year, I was coming back from a trip, and I was singled out by the TSA agent. I thought that I had left a water bottle, like I often do, in my bag, but he ushered me to a separate area, and then 2 more TSA agents surrounded me, and I knew in my gut that something bad was about to go down. The lead TSA agent proceeds to accuse me of bringing a weapon into the airport. When I insisted that I did not bring a weapon into the airport, he produces a piece of costume jewelry, a double ring that I had picked up for $4 on vacation. It was like his gotcha moment, and it was my super confused moment. He then accuses me of bringing brass knuckles, a deadly weapon, into a United States airport. I was almost at a loss of words, which is rare for someone like me, but I politely pointed out to him that the ring was plastic, it wasn't brass, and these weren't knuckles, it was just a ring that went over 2 fingers instead of 1 finger. But have you ever talked to someone and felt like you didn't exist? Like when they spoke to you, they spoke right through you. Well, that's how I felt. He got more angry at my explanations, looked me in my face and said, "You people always lie. I know that this is a weapon, and I'm not going to let someone dangerous like you board a plane today." Well, I started to shake, right? Because we've all seen this movie about the brown girl who walks into the airport with a deadly weapon, and it never really ends well for her. It doesn't. It never does. So I had to do what I hate doing, and I used my credentials to get me out of a bad situation. I told him that I was a professor of constitutional law and American politics. Right? Like, yeah. So I told him I cited U.S. Criminal Code, landmark Supreme Court decisions, and rules from the Homeland Security Rulebook because I also teach civil liberties. And then he started to get very nervous. He asked what school I worked at. I told him he Googled my name and the blood drained from his face, right? As he realized I wasn't making this up, I knew my rights and I was a college professor. And then when he looked back at me, he finally saw me, not as a dangerous threat, but as a person. After a few more minutes, he let me go to catch my much delayed flight. I found a seat in the airport terminal, still trembling with rage at the way that I had been treated. I was only seated for a few minutes when I felt a tap on my shoulder. A woman airport worker said that she saw my whole ordeal and that he does this all the time to Black passengers, and I was lucky to have been released from his custody so quickly. But it shouldn't take a university website profile to be viewed as non-threatening, right? Like it just... Part of the reason I share this story and some of the other ones is that I think in talking about the current racial crisis, we tend to focus all of our attention on police and overlook our own complicity in creating an environment in which Black lives are not treated as equal. To be clear in thinking about solutions to the racial violence, I'm in favor of body cameras. I'm in favor of a non-militarized police force. I'm in favor of stricter law.
I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to stop sharing because I'm hoping that I am recording. My recording is going well. But why was he allowed to treat her like that? And why has his supervisor allowed him to do that? Because the young lady tapped her on the shoulder and said he's guilty of doing this all the time, right? Why in America can people treat you that don't look like you any kind of way? Why are they allowed to do that? Why aren't they stopped in their tracks when somebody sees injustice and they go, we're not doing that. Don't do that. That's the only way it's going to stop in this country. If somebody says something, speak up, say something, hold them accountable. I'm going to show you another video. Okay. I'm gonna give me time to pull it up, but I'm gonna show you another video, but I'm gonna keep talking in the meantime. And this one here is just as, important as the last one we just saw. Okay. But it's just a shame how we're allowed to get away with this. People are allowed to get away with this. They see something, but they don't say anything, do they? No. Here's another video that I'm going to show you. Okay. Here's one more that I'm going to show you. Okay. I'm coming back up there where you are. I know you didn't know I was gone, and this is not, and I'm hoping it's good. These are the videos that was on my previous, the previous video. The previous videos they were showing, but they weren't being heard. So I'm doing a part 2, but I'm not gonna do it live. I'm doing it taping. Okay, so just hang on with me. Hopefully you'll watch this video instead of the last video, or watch a little bit of both. Okay, here's another one. I'm gonna present it to you. I'm gonna share my screen. Injustice system, entire screen, and I think I didn't do that last time. And I'm going up here, and I'm gonna tap on the one that I want. I think I want this one. Yes. So I'm gonna share again. And here I go. And I'll be back. I want you to listen to this one also.
It starts with a police officer pulling over a black man because of a headlight being out. And then it snowballs into where literally we see men who are those same men incarcerated for their entire lives because of also how our sentencing guidelines have been set up.
We are racial bias. Black and Hispanic over 28% of the U.S. population, 6 all population, jail population. Black boys in prison in the U.S.
It's not just about even just those who are in prison. It's the effect and the stigma that it has on those individuals for the rest of their lives.
Happening of our work are still underway. There are states house division.
Why is this happening under our watch? It's happening because the U.S. has never faced in an effective way the truth. It has never effectively faced our past that has led to this present moment. The problem hasn't only been that we enslaved our Black population and have oppressed and discriminated against them for 4 centuries. That's not the only problem. It's that even after the Civil War, we continued to create systems that pushed down our Black population and oppressed them.
13% of the population are killed.
It starts actually when that first infraction happens, when a police officer first arrests or pulls over or questions the Black individual or the Hispanic individual or the person of color. How that interaction goes, how that record is recorded.
South Africa bias regulation by United States African American Council cities.
What does the jury of your peers look like?
What does the
jury of America's peers look like when we're becoming a majority country? Who are our judges? How do our judges feel empathy?
They don't.
How do they exist in the world? The majority of our judges are white men. They're not people of color. They haven't walked in the shoes of the majority of the prison population, of that 56%.
Because I told you, even black folk that look like me think like them, because they trained them and they input in their minds the biases about their own selves, about their own people. So you come out, Willie Lynch So she goes out and she does the same thing. Because what did Willie Lynch, if you read Willie Lynch says, do it constantly, do it for a whole year. Everybody do it, and it passes down, and everybody continues to do it. So then we will continue to do it on our own. Hold on, let me close this door. Hold on, you guys. Sorry. So we will continue doing stuff. The racial bias, we'll continue it on, knowing that it's wrong. And sometimes we live that. We don't even feel that it's wrong. Just like on the bus, on the train, when Neely was getting he was getting choked. Nobody helped. Nobody looked like him helped him to be free. They was helping hold him down, but they didn't help him to be free. That's sad. But let's continue on.
What we have to do with folks is to ask them to be a part of the solution.
Yeah.
And when you ask someone and you invite someone to be a part of the solution and let them come, I've seen this so many times, to come forward and say, I am a part of the problem. But it's much better for them to come forward and say that rather than you saying that. We work very closely with the Nashville Police Department, raising awareness, letting people understand their bias.
How can you change that or heal that when police officers know they know they're biased? They know that's what their job is. Their job is to be biased because they're working for the Klan, some of them, and this is their beliefs, and you're not going to change it. They're going to do their job. They're going to do what the oath that they took. They're going to keep up with that oath. And they're going to continue putting you behind bars because nobody knows, nobody cares, and nobody's investigating them to see if they're doing it right or not. Yes, we hear about people who've been in jail for 45 years and come out and they find out, oh, they didn't do the crime. They didn't do it. But then the officer that put them in jail set them up, and they set it up, and now he's dead and gone, but he got he was never held accountable. For anything that they do, they can do whatever they want, even though he set the person up. But when you go to the academy, that's lying, and you actually should be getting fired for that. But a lot of times they planting evidence and they're not getting caught, and they're doing it, and you know that you didn't have that bag of weed, and they said you did, so you go to jail. You got time for a bag of weed that you didn't even have, so that's an extra 5 to 10, 7 years, and you sit up there mad. But we're not challenging the system. We're not fixing anything. We are not holding them accountable. And instead of us holding them accountable, we never do. We just continue allowing them to be these evil, horrible, demonic people that they are. We just continue allowing them to be. We don't ever challenge it, because when we try to challenge it, you have other Black folk that'll fight against you also. So not only are you fighting your own, you're fighting them and your own, but who has time to do that? So people just leave the system as it is, and they don't try to fight it. They just, try to get around it or try to evade it, but never try to head on collision it, But let's finish. She's almost done, and then I'll come back.
And this leads me to another point, and that is this. I don't believe in shaming people. I think we have to create space for people to evolve. I think we have to create space for people to be humble and to seek humility without humiliating them. We change the narrative about the other. We humanize rather than dehumanize. We flip disinformation and misinformation campaigns on their head by bringing truth to people and asking them to see each other's humanity and asking them to think about and to visualize what a future together looks like.
Thank you. Thank her for that. And also wanted to do a couple of other things to you, for you. I'm going to try to see if I can get this up. Let's do this. Hold on, you guys. Give me time. And let me see if I can pull this up and see if we can get something here. And see, this is horrible. I think this is the most disgusting ever. I believe this is, I believe that this is horrible. J.D. Vance invites Daniel Penny to attend Army-Navy game with him and Trump after Marine vet cleared in subway choking death. I think this is disgusting. This is a man who murdered someone. As you see here, I'm hoping I'm going to come back over to make sure. I'm going to stop sharing, but I'm going to come back over just to make sure that I'm still sharing. I don't want to mess up like I did before. I'm going to I'm going to share it again. Share my screen. I really hope I'm doing this right this time, because I want to make sure that we get this this time. I'm going to share my entire screen. Yes. And let's go up here and share. And here I am. I'm going to share. And here I am going to go over there and there. Okay, so this is Daniel Penny, the man recently acquitted in the chokehold death of Jordan Neely, will be the personal guest of Vice President-elect J.D. Vance at the Army-Navy football game scheduled for Saturday, which is today. And this is the man that you elected. He's going to congratulate a killer. This country is evil. This country is demonic. This country right now is in a bad place. You're calling bad good, good bad. And this is what they're doing. And it's getting worse, because we're talking about Sonia Massey's murderer. He was put in jail. He got out of jail because they said that he was not a threat to society. But he was a threat. He is a threat to society. He murdered a young woman, shot her in the middle of her in her face. And you want to tell me he's not a threat to society? Maybe he's not a threat to white society, but to Black society, we can say he's a threat. Okay. So this is a man who you just elected back Black family to be your president. Now, this young man, the white young man here, Penny, he's the one that's the Marines. He is the one that murdered Neely, and now he's being rewarded for murdering someone. He killed a young man that was literally talking, using his his First Amendment. You can speak, right? Freedom of speech. Everybody has it. But nowadays in America, they're trying to steal our freedom of speech. Okay. They're trying to tell you that this, that, and the other, that's what they think of you. But it's the most dangerous right here. The most dangerous that the FBI told us, which is Neely, that he's not dangerous anymore. He's not danger. He's not a danger to society. That the one that's on the ground that's being choked is the most dangerous. But you have the one that they said that is the dangerous one, choking the one that they say is supposed to be the dangerous one. But who's murdering who? And who got off for that murder? Because everybody in America was so glad that Daniel Penny got off. Okay. But let's understand something, America. Did he really get off? Because sowing and reaping is so real. We're going to hear about him something. We're going to hear about, because he think he laughing, he grinning, he's smiling. Oh, he's really believing that he got off. He really do believe that. And a lot of people, and I'm looking at this country, we just had a CEO that came up murdered, right? And everybody was, oh, yay. I've never seen anything like this in my life. Where's the sympathy? A person died. And you got the person that murdered them being honored and rewarded. Just like the McDonald's, the person that was in the McDonald's, he's being harassed because he called and told the police that the guy that killed the CEO was in the restaurant. Now the restaurant and the guy that worked in the restaurant is getting he's getting hassled to high heavens. The restaurant, they're calling about the McDonald's and complaining about the food. And these are people that have not even been in the McDonald's. And then they're complaining and harassing the worker that did the right thing by turning him in. But then you are celebrating the murderer. Something is wrong with this picture. Something is wrong with this picture. If you can turn around and reward a killer, Dylan Roof, who murdered 9, he was rewarded a hamburger, a meal. He got to go and eat. Those people were suffering and shot up. They took this dude who had a gun when the police showed up, and they treated him, talked him down, didn't shoot him, didn't tackle him, didn't choke him, his white t-shirt was still white when he got in the police car. He didn't have no dirt on it. Nobody was on his neck. Nobody was on his head. Nobody was choking him so he couldn't breathe. Nobody choked him out. They talked him down, put him in the car, took him to eat before they took him to jail. So in this country, we reward bad behavior if you're white. I also showed a thing where if you were in this country, that a law that Virginia passed that said that if you are murdered, if you're a slave and you're murdered by your master, his wife, or while they're disciplining you, that person will not be brought up on any charges. Okay, so the same law is applying here. He was punishing Neely because Neely was talking loud. So of course he murdered Neely. So of course we can't bring you up on federal charges. So don't tell me those books aren't those laws are still aren't on the book still. But this is the president right here. Vance invited Daniel Penny to attend Army Navy game with him and Trump after Marine vet cleared in subway chokehold death. But hey, wonder if I can get a video. I know I had it one time. It was a talking video. I can't even find the one. But this is where he was choking. This is where he was choking. They were holding him down. See there. They was holding his arms. Ain't that something? He probably didn't even care. And they congratulated him for murdering him. Ain't that something? You got congratulated. He got congratulated. Ain't that something? Thank you for your service, huh? Yeah, right. So yeah. Thank you for your service. I want you to see one more, the text that this one is a text, if I could find it, that Vance wrote to Neely about his support, and that this is a text. Invites. Okay, I just want you to see if I can find the text. This is one of the. Okay, I'm trying to see if I can get it up. You guys see this? Where he said. Let me see if I can find this text here. Invites Daniel to the man who killed Jordan Leona. Okay, I'm trying to see the text. I'm trying to look for the text that he texted him. But he said that he was proud of him. Hold on, you guys. Let me go back. Because I just saw the text and I want to pull it up for you. Just want you guys to see this. Do you guys see this right here? The text. Last Friday. I cannot get this text up. No. I can't believe this. I can't find it. I just had it up and I erased it. Let's go back to here. Read this, you guys. It says, Daniel, a good guy, Vance wrote on X, formerly Twitter, and New York mob district attorney tried to ruin his life for having a backbone. I'm grateful he accepted my invitation and hope he's able to have fun and appreciate how much his fellow citizens admire his encouragement, his courage. This is something that your president, a man that you elected, wrote to a murderer. I cannot with this country. This country is done. This country is done. I want to show you another one. I want to show you another one, how horrible this country is. I hope you can see all of this stuff. I just want to see. Okay. Okay. He was formerly president. He was denied. Lord, these commercials. He was denied. Um, he was denied pretrial release. This was in July, right? Okay. Hold on. Hold on. This is what, December now? Okay. I want you guys to see this. Update. Okay. Okay. Now, justice for Sonia Massey, activist demand killer ex-cop stay in jail after Sean Grayson pretrial release. He was released. They said he was going to keep him, and now they have decided to they have decided to release him, right? Okay. Last week, 4th District Appellate Court decision overturned a lower court ruling that County Sheriff Sean P. Grayson, who is charged with first-degree murder after shooting Sonia Massey to death in her home on July 6th, should be remanded until trial, to the dismay of activists and residents who are demanding justice for Massey. The appellate court granted Grayson pretrial release, according to State Journal Registrar. See, this is crazy. He gets to come out, right? He gets to enjoy his little life. He gets to enjoy his life, which is so sad. After the hearing, which took place last Wednesday, Massey father James Wilbur said also called the ruling to grant Grayson pretrial release a serious miscarriage of justice. It's not, because they're doing what they want to do. A local activist like Ken Springfield have argued that the first-degree murder charge should be an automatic disqualifier for release from jail. But this is what they do. They just mock it. This is what I'm saying. They always gonna deem themselves right. They're always gonna deem themselves right. Okay, but that's okay, because they're gonna get their day. I promise you, they are. They are going to get their day. Okay. So I want to just Daniel Penny to join Trump suite at a Army Navy football game. Okay, you got a murderer. You're hanging out with murderers. Well, I guess you know what, convicts, murderers. Okay.
What if I could show you how to make ChatGPT sell for you 24 hours a day?
So now we hanging out with murderers, huh? Well, I guess you got 30-some charges, felony charges. So now you get to hang out with murderers. So I guess birds and feather do flock together, huh? You got a president who's a convict, okay, and you got a murderer hanging out. So I guess that kind of works, huh? Okay, that's cool. We good. We good with that. We okay with that. We okay. We okay with that. But that's I just thought I just wanted to kind of come to you guys, and these are some of the videos that we weren't able to show on the last live. Okay. So this is just one of the videos. I just wanted to come up and and kind of reiterate some things that we were showing or trying to show. And I'm going to stop sharing now. Come on back over here with you guys. This is, like I said, we're doing a taping, a recording, and I'm going to put it out there. And I just wanted to, it's just so sad at how we, and even as Black people, we will blame this young man for his own death. Because I saw a lady, and I'm going to try to pull that one up too, where she said that she felt threatened. Okay. Hold on. And she was on the train, and she said that never that she felt so threatened by Neely. And my thing is, how did you feel so threatened, but you're not threatened by the white man that struggled? You weren't threatened by some of the stuff that you see every day, and you see the white men doing it, but you felt comfortable with them, but you feel threatened with your own. But this guy has, you've probably seen him on the train before, but you've never seen him do anything to anybody on the train, but you felt so threatened. But I also wanted to say something about Neely and how he, a man who grew up in Brigham Young, New Jersey, said that a talented dancer throughout his teens and 20s, he was a local known. I'm gonna I'm gonna bring that up because I want to read a little bit of this, talking about our brother. That because every time you see them, they want to vilify you and make you think that that's all we do is kill and murder. And but I want to bring a connection to help you to understand who this young man really was. And we're talking about the killing of Jordan Neely on May 1st, 2023, in New York City. Jordan Neely, a 30-year-old homeless American man, he was black, was killed after being put in a chokehold by Daniel Penny, 24, okay, year old, United States Marine Corps. So you a Marine Corps, you fighting a 30-year-old, you know when a man feels like they're dying because you've been trained in this, and you're gonna just continue to choke him. You couldn't put him to sleep. You couldn't help make him go unconscious. You had to literally kill him. That wasn't even called for. Penny was found not guilty of a charge of criminal negligent homicide and related to Neely's death, while a charge of second-degree manslaughter was dismissed. Neely's death prompted protests, and I wish we would stop protesting, and a border debate around Penny's actions and Neely's circumstances. Neely boarded a New York City bus, train at the 2nd Avenue just before. Hold on. I'm trying to say, I don't want to read that part. I wanted to see. Hold on. Shoot. Tag on it. I wanted to get, dang. Man, this thing is messing me up here. This thing is messing me up because I wanted to actually, that ain't what I wanted. Man, I wanted to read some of Neely's life. I want to read a little bit about him. A scene where it was something about his mom, how he grew up, and hold on, let me just see. I just wanted to see just a little bit about how he grew up. Hold on. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up a little bit. Okay. He remembered as a teen who struggled to cope with the loss of his best friend, his mother, who was violently murdered. He remember for entertainer, commuters, tourists, and local alike with noon walk and side guides with revealed Michael Jackson, who was Neely. He lived in New York. Neely's father blames racism and system of son's death, but where was he? That's a good question. Where was he? The boy's 30 years old. I'm sure his dad was at home. Where would your father be if you're living on your own and your son? He probably knew his son had some mental issues going on. But still, that doesn't mean that he can't sue Daniel Penny for civil rights violation. It doesn't matter where he was. He's here now. So my thing is, this is what we always want to blame the victim for their own deaths. That's what America does. They want to make sure that that you're gonna blame the person who got on the train and was talking loud and using his speech, freedom of speech, and then you choke him out and you kill him, but then you're going to blame him for his deaths because even the attorney was saying that it was other things involved in Neely's death, like uh, he had sickle cell, which but your arm was around his neck, so now you're gonna blame it on sickle cell. You're gonna blame he had some drugs. You're gonna blame he, of course you won't always. We always want to vilify the victim, just to excuse the murderer. So you could feel better about him doing what he did. That's all that is. But this is what these do. This is what they do. But guess what? Sowing and reaping is real. We have to understand that, and you're going to reap what you sow. Okay. But I didn't want to be on here long. I just wanted to kind of fill in the voids as far as the conversation and to help you guys understand that these crackers think they're doing something. They think they got away with something. It's hard to hurt us without hurting yourself first. So in reaping is real. I always say that sometimes, we have school shootings for a reason. Okay. Every time they don't do what they need to do for us, things happen to them. Things happen in America. And I'm looking for justice. I believe in justice. I'm looking for justice to happen here in America. And it's going to hurt some feelings. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. I want justice for Sonia. I want justice for Neely. I want justice for the police. Police officers have been murdering our Black babies, women and children. I want justice for the babies have been taken away. Over 50,000 women and children have been stolen and kidnapped in America. It's just we have to get to the place where we are doing the right thing and making sure that we're doing the right thing and not making excuses why it's okay for somebody to act out. It's not okay that he murdered him. It's not okay that he took that young man's freedom of speech. It's not okay. But we can gaslight, and white folk, that's what they do best. They gaslight all the time, make it seem that's just the way they think. Let's reading how these people are and how they were so excited about Neely getting off. I mean, about Jordan, about Penny getting off, but they fail to realize that because they didn't do the right thing, the universe is going to make them do the right thing. The universe is going to make them do what needed to be done. It's just so sad. It's just so sad. But I am done. I'm not going to be on here long. I'm going to be done. But thank you for joining again. And you'll see the other video and then you'll see this one. But thank you so much for coming. Have a great day. And we're going to be done for the night. Bye for now.